everyone, it's Corey here with Royal LePage Northern Lights Realty, and you're tuning in today for another episode of Ask the Expert with Tasha Road with Homeology Living. Tasha is a professional home stager and interior decorator, and she and I work together on staging houses for my listing packages. So today we have a really special episode. We are going to talk about feature walls. Everybody wants to kind of enhance their paint colors and add a little bit of a focal point in their room, and the feature walls is an excellent way to do so. Tasha has done her research. I'm going to tell you right now, she's researched some excellent ways for you to provide different cost-effective feature walls. So why don't we kind of talk about the 4 ones that we decided to discuss today, and then we can kind of dig a little bit deeper into those.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of different feature walls, but I think we don't want to overwhelm you today, so we're just gonna pick 4 feature walls.
Yeah,
so today,
and cost-effective too.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about shiplap, wallpaper, wall stencils, and paint.
Perfect. So the 2 easiest and most cost-effective ways are paint, obviously, and then wall stencils.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you kind of dig into those ones and we can kind of discuss from there.
Well, let's talk about wall stencils first, because I have actually done this on my own home. So I can kind of should tell you the story of how I did this. So basically, I purchased a wall stencil for $50. It's like this ginormous stencil. Yeah. And then I just used a foam brush, and then I had this like little jar of sample paint that I had left over. And it was $10 for
$10 for sample paint.
Yeah. And I painted this whole wall. We'll show you a picture.
We actually have a picture of Tasha painting the wall. We'll flash it up right now, and you can see the stencil. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it looks like wallpaper. Like, it's so classy looking. You would think that it would look really bad. And tell me, like, you're an interior decorator, but how easy is it to do?
It is. It's pretty easy. Like, you don't need to be a painter or have, like, you need some painter tape and, you know, a ladder and a couple little things. But, like, I'm not a painter. I don't have, you know, those skills. So it's easy enough to do for the average person. So you essentially tape the stencil to the wall, paint it, move the stencil over, tape it, paint it, and so on and so forth. Sounds pretty easy to me. And you guys saw the results. We're going to show some other photos of examples of wall stencils so that you can kind of take a look at that. So let's chat about paint. Yes, paint. So paint is like one of the easiest ways to do an accent wall, and it's the easiest thing to switch out too.
Right. Yeah. Always, if you don't like it,
change
it's only
it,
paint.
Right? I mean, obviously you're going to still have that investment of the paint, but you can do some really fun things. You can get like some tape, and you could do like half a wall. You can do circles, triangles, and like some really fun things. It doesn't have to be just like a solid accent wall, which you can do as well.
Well, last time we talked about the Benjamin Moore colors of the year too, and you mentioned some of those colors would make great feature walls. So, you know, I'd be curious to see how people start incorporating those colors into their feature walls as well. Absolutely. So let's talk about wallpaper, because it's kind of the elephant in the room in my house, because my husband, being a contractor, actually hates wallpaper, and he says it is a pain in the butt to install, and it's even worse to remove. So, like, is that myth really true with wallpaper? What's the deal with wallpaper?
It's overwhelming, right? There's a lot to know about wallpaper. So I'm going to talk about, there's 3 different types of wallpaper, and then I'll talk about kind of the most cost-effective option of those 3. So the first type of wallpaper is called unpasted wallpaper. So essentially what it is just a piece of paper, and then you have to put the glue on yourself.
Oh, wow. So way too much effort.
And then apply it, right? And also, it can be a pain in the butt to remove. Your husband is kind of right about that. You need a scoring tool and a special hot warm water solution, and to get rid of that wallpaper. So it is a little bit time.
That's probably the original wallpaper was that way, where they put the glue on.
But like, that's still around.
That's the one that has the stigma, right? So what's the next kind?
So the next kind is called pasted wallpaper. So pasted wallpaper is a piece of paper that already has the glue like done for you, right? But again, it uses the same method to remove it. So you still need the scoring tool, which you can purchase off Amazon and do that all yourself. It just takes more time.
It's more time, yeah, and more frustration.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
you can get some really beautiful prints in this wallpaper. It is kind of, yeah, it's been around the longest, but
I think that's the benefit to wallpaper is you get these beautiful, elaborate prints. Like I've seen some that are just absolutely gorgeous, yet my husband won't touch it, so I have no wallpaper in my house. But that being said, so what's the third kind then?
So the third kind is probably the kind that your husband will like the most. So
if at all.
It's called peel and stick wallpaper, and essentially what it is a sticker.
Okay.
So you're putting, it's already got, you literally put it on, and you should be able to just peel it off from the corner.
Oh, okay.
And if it is really good quality wallpaper, if you put it on crooked, you should be able to pull it
back and then readjust it. Yeah,
because it should still stay like sticky.
Because that's another concern that I have. Like if you don't install it properly, the other methods that you talked about, then you have lumps in your walls and things like that, right? So like, I mean, really realistically, when we're talking about it, like how does this compare to the stencil that we just talked about? Like, don't you get the similar look for a fraction of the price and headache? Like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I really love the stencil, and that's a great point. You can actually get the same patterns in a stencil and wallpaper, but there still is some really beautiful prints that you can't stencil. Get with stencil. But you know, it is what it is.
Right, fair enough.
You have to choose. Right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the last one, which is shiplap. And I know you've done your research on this one, and you found a really cost-effective way for us to do shiplap. This is the best way for you to kind of achieve that country chic look that a lot of people are looking for right now.
Yeah.
So why don't you kind of just tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, if you want, you can just buy the pre-made shiplap at like, you know, your hardware store, like Home Depot or wherever you live. You can buy it in boxes. But another cost-effective way of doing shiplap is you can go to the hardware store and you get a piece of plywood. So like a 4-foot by 8-foot piece of plywood, and then you ask them to cut it into 6 inches, like 6-inch pieces. Or if you have like a saw at home, then you can do it at home.
But it's easier to just get them to do it.
If they can do it. So then basically you'll have these strips, right?
Okay.
So you take those home and then you paint them whatever color you want to paint.
Yeah.
And then you nail
so you could do a whitewash or whatever. So would you stagger it, or how would you do it? Like what's the sort of best way? And I know we have some pictures here. We're going to flash them up, but you would kind of lay it out, and then you would sort of, the way that people would install flooring is the way that they would install a shiplap wall. Is that not correct?
I like that analogy. That's kind of a good analogy. You would just, I mean, you'd have to measure your wall and still make some cuts, of course, once you're home. Yeah. But it's pretty straightforward to install, like straight across, and then you can just touch it up with paint after you've nail gunned it to the wall. That's
a really cool idea, and a nice cost-effective way too.
It is. Oh my gosh, it's like significantly cheaper.
I would imagine that those shiplap kits would be really expensive.
It is.
Yeah, they would just go for the gouge because everybody wants that.
I'm pretty sure it was like, I think it's $150 for like 4 pieces or something.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
It's pricey,
but substantially cheaper is what you're getting at to buy just a piece of
the plywood. Get it cut. Paint it. It's more time consuming, but if you can do like a little bit of DIY, or if you have your husband,
a husband that can do it for you.
Do it for you. I shouldn't talk about that. Wives can do it too. Right?
Yes, that's true. You like one of the ones that we didn't bring up because it was so elaborate and quite hard to do was board and batten. And when we do another segment, which is how to style a bed, we're gonna see Tasha's board and batten wall, and it is unbelievably beautiful. So I'll table that for now until we do that one. But I mean, that was something that you basically, you and your husband did together, right? So I mean, you guys can. It's a lovely project that you guys can do. So that's perfect. So I mean, we have 4 really great options that we kind of discussed today. But if you want more help with feature walls, if you're thinking of painting, or if you're thinking of, looking for a focal point in your room, feel free to touch base with Tasha, set up a consultation consultation, have her come through your house and really pick something that works for you. Best way to reach her is on Instagram, Homeology Living. And if you want to reach her through me, you're more than welcome to. It's Corey Ferguson Realtor on Instagram. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today on our awesome feature wall segment.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.